Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Bid Nerds. That is me right there. Look, I'm going to do a lower third. My name is John Polnick. I'm coming to you live from beautiful downtown Las Vegas, Nevada. My partner, Michael Deeb, look at this guy. He's coming to you live from San Francisco, California. Right. This is we're coming to you from two different states, if you can believe that. How you doing, Michael Deeb?
Excellent. Good morning, JP. What's happening?
Well, I just trying to let people know that this is the channel that you can come to and hang out with us every morning at around 9 o'clock Pacific time, and you can kind of hang out with us and discuss and hear us talk about our top 5 picks of the day on auto auction sites, Bring a Trailer, and Cars and Bids. Now, every day we pick our favorite 5 cars from those sites, and we talk about them, and we try to predict what we think those cars will actually bid up to and sell for on the auction sites. And sometimes we're right, hardly ever, and most of the time we're wrong, but it's a good time, and we want you to kind of hang out with us and do the same thing. What do you think of our predictions? Let us know, and we want to know what your predictions are. Now, these are all cars that are on the block today, within hours. So this is the freshest, Cars and Bids and Bring a Trailer info you can get. Forget Doug DeMuro's, market update that he does like 2 weeks out. That's like totally not relevant. This is happening now. So that is Bid Nerds. I'm John Polnick, and my fellow nerd over there, Michael Deeb. Michael Deeb, how the hell are you? I just wanted to get that intro out.
Excellent. You had a good day yesterday. You got 3 of them. I got 2 of them from the 5 we reviewed yesterday. However, none of us were actually right on the car's actual hammer price. But anyways, jumping right in, why don't we start on Cars and Bids today? Okay. I have selected for us a 2003 Audi RS6 Avant that is currently titled in Canada. It's in Edmonton, Alberta. This is a car that somebody there imported from Japan, but it is a left-hand drive. It's important to note before we get into the car that it is still unobtainium in the USA. This car is not yet 25 years old. Therefore, it does not. It cannot easily be imported on the 25-year exemption. However, there are other ways to get this car in, none of which are inexpensive. As such, I don't know that there's a huge following for this car in Canada. The real market for this car would be in the United States, and it's not titled in the United States. So I don't know that this car is going to make it into the U.S. I don't know that this car is going to go for what it's worth.
Hold on, Michael. Yeah. What makes this car a car that cannot be in America? This looks like any other Audi wagon of the era. What are we looking at here?
Yeah, so first of all, I think this car is listed in kilometers, and in order to it be imported into the United States, you have to be able to switch the odometer over to miles. That's part of the DOT regulations. Like I said, it might be possible that this car can do that electronically and can be imported, but that process is expensive. This car was never brought, the wagon version of this car was never brought into the United States. However, the sedan, which is the exact same platform and bodywork and drivetrain, was offered in 2003. So it's a really neat car that you just don't see very often. It's got 52,000 miles on a 4.2-liter twin-turbocharged V8. And I'm a huge fan of this car because the current James Bond, Daniel Craig, did a movie called Layer Cake that was an English sort of crime thing in which he played a drug dealer. And I think the general theme is that it was his role in Layer Cake that landed him the offer for being James Bond. And in that movie, this was his car. He drove this car throughout the movie. So it's just a really cool car to me. And of course, you never see the wagon RS6 in the United States because they were never brought in. So there it is.
Yeah, gotta love an Audi wagon. That is just a really cool. Again, coming from the Northwest, where I'm from, it totally makes sense that this thing's up in Canada. This is the kind of car. This is like the ultimate car for being up on the ski mountain. A lot of people love to have big SUVs and stuff like that to go up to the ski resorts, but you wind up you open up the tailgate on an SUV and it's 10 feet off the ground, and try to put your ski boots on or your snowboard stiff gear on while your legs are hanging over the edge of something that's like way up. It's like being on the ski lift already. It's great having a wagon like this because you can have all your gear, open up that tailgate, and have all that stuff just kind of like there. I don't know why Americans don't like wagons. People hate them here. Except
So
for
funny.
there's like this little teeny sliver of people that really love them. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's really funny. In the United States, wagons from the 60s and 70s with the authentic simulated wood grain paneling, it was considered being like locked down with a wife and kids. Whereas in Europe, if you live in a major city like London or Paris or Madrid, and you can only have one car, a wagon was kind of the answer to an SUV. You could park this in a regular parking space, yet you could take your honey and go to the coast or go to the mountains over the weekend, depending on the season. Every major brand makes their hottest sedan in a wagon form. So you can get an M5 wagon or an E63 wagon. And Audi, of course, makes the RS6 in what they call an Avant, which is their speak for wagon. This car is loaded. It's, Brembo brakes, Recaro seats, Bose sound system, Alcantara, everything on the inside. This one has 18-inch wheels all the way around. The aluminum mirrors and stuff. I always thought this was a really cool car. And
did they ever make a manual version of this thing?
I think they did actually in Europe. Please don't quote me on that. I don't know for sure, but my knee-jerk reaction is that you could get this car, this RS6, with a manual overseas, but we never got here. I have to say, this is a 5-speed automatic transmission. It's an old DF slush box. It's not a very good gearbox, but the rest of the drivetrain is pretty easy.
All right, so what's your bid?
So anyways, it's interesting. So when I wrote this car up this morning, it was on $13,000 on 24 bids. Now it's sitting at $19,750 on 33 bids. So this car's been getting action in the last hour. I still think this car is going to fade out. I'm going to go $23,000 and a no sale at that price. I would think that this guy's trying to get $30,000 for this car, and he may not get that if it's not an American title. So I'm going to go $23,000 no sale. How about you?
23,000. Yeah, I mean, the whole importing thing just freaks me out. But then you look at the amount of bids, people don't seem to be worried about it. I mean, somebody seems to have an ace in the hole on this car. I'm always worried about the reliability factor of Audis of this era. I don't think they were very good. I know that you had a lesser Audi that looked much like this one that was horrible.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but it does have low miles and it is neat. I'm gonna say it peters out even sooner. I'm gonna go under. I'm gonna say 25. Or I'm sorry. Would you say 23?
Yeah, I said 23. Yeah.
Oh, so I'm sorry. I'm gonna go 22.
22. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. There we go.
All right. Moving on. What's the next car?
All right. So let's pop over to Bring a Trailer, and I picked a car. Although this one's a 93, JP, tell me that this wasn't the high school car. This is a 1993 Ford Mustang LX 5-liter. This car has 19,000 miles. Just seems like it's a preservation award winner in the condition that it's in. So many of these cars were modified, beat, and driven by pimple-faced teenagers that we all went to school with. It's just really cool. It just takes me back to high school. 1993 was the last year for the Fox body platform on which Mustangs from the late 70s all the way until 1993 were built on. These are archaic dinosaurs as far as like drivetrain and handling. It's a really interesting drivetrain for Ford in that the 5-liter Mustang made about 225 horsepower, but 275 pound-foot of torque. Those specifications sound like a truck engine to me, not a sports car. But, this was a muscle car. Most of the guys wanted to do the stoplight race more than handling and driving these cars around turns. These cars all had a live rear axle, not independent rear suspension, so they never really handled that well at all. I knew a kid in high school went off the road in a residential area and drove his car through a little lady's living room. So, I mean, it's just, they're kind of absurd as far as the fact that they're sports cars, but they were affordable fun for the kids that came from families with money. This was never in my wheelhouse. But anyway, there it goes. A high school daydream brought to life in a 19,000 mile red Ford Mustang with cloth interior. This car I have to admit, JP, I'm shocked that even out of, where is this car coming from? Monticello, Florida. This car's only got 7 bids, which is really weird to me. And you just don't see them in this condition very often. I thought this car would have a lot more action than that, but there you go.
Yeah, that is shocking that it's that low. A Fox body has to be a GT in order for me to get excited about it. I mean, this is a kitschy, fun period car, or at least the look. And this not being a GT just makes it look like, good Lord, every horrible Mustang that every kid in Snohomish had where I grew up. Now, on the flip side of that, being a slick top and having no frills, there is a, my minimalism, sense starts to go, maybe I was wrong back in the day. The Fox body was, or the GT wasn't
LX.
the car to get. The LX is the one that maybe you want. But... this car would be terribly, terribly fun, but only if it were very inexpensive. For any kind of money, again, if I'm getting really, I always talk about convertibles. This car is fantastic as a convertible because who cares what it does around corners? You're out to just enjoy the day and do donuts and look fun and... 18,000 already, and it's got 4.5 hours to go. Yeah, not a lot of bids, but it's certainly a much higher number than it should be.
Right.
What's your bid?
It's already all the money for this car. We got Gary to buy a 6,000 mile SVO, like $20,000, and that's a way rare car to me.
All right, what's your bid?
LX.
What's your bid?
So anyway, here we go. So I still think there's a little bit of room in this car. I'm going to go $22,000 again.
$22,000? Okay. I'm kind of with you. I think this is going to have a late push. I'm going to go 24. Okay. Not because I really think it's worth it, but it is very low miles, and you do rarely see this, and it is a last one, and it is a manual. I mean, if this thing were an automatic, I'd be like, who cares? But, tons of fun in this car. And forever, too, because they are reliable. It's a car that's, never going to really need anything expensive.
Cheap to work on, and parts are everywhere. Yeah. Staying with that high school dream, JP, this was my fantasy car when I was in high school. We're going to just move over here on Bring a Trailer and look at a 1989 Porsche 944 Turbo in black. And I just got to tell you, JP, this was like absolutely my fantasy car while I was in high school. I didn't get behind the G Series as much as I did behind the Turbo 944 with the smooth bodywork. This is a Turbo S. It's out of Holidays, Pennsylvania. It is on just 18,000 miles. The Turbo S bumped up the equipment that came on the 944 Turbo from 86. So you got a higher spec turbo that went from like 218 to 247 horsepower. Torque rose from like 245 to 260. You got MO30 sport suspension with Coney shocks and larger stabilizer bars. This car also borrowed the brake calipers from the 928 S4, maybe even the S4 GT. I'm not exactly sure which model, but they were basically 928 spec Brembo brakes all the way around. This is a really cool car in black with linen leather interior. It's all original equipment. The guy has paint meter readings on it. It looks to be in spectacular condition, and I believe he inherited it from his father. So this, for the last 31 years, has been a one-family car new out of Holidays, Pennsylvania. 944 turbos are actually 944 moving in the right direction. 951s, especially in really good condition, have been bringing kind of ridiculous money now. Silver Roses with low miles from 88 are bringing $100,000. So this Turbo S, at a different season out of Pennsylvania, say in the spring or summer, might be a $65,000 car, but it's got 25 bids and sitting at $48,000, 951. So what do you think?
Man, is this the ultimate 944? I mean, an S turbo? With this color combo, I mean, I would prefer it have all black interior. I do like the linen. It's been kept very well. Most of the time when you see the linen interiors or the bisque interiors on these, they're just roached out. But this one is epically nice, and it has the black floor mat, so I think it's the perfect combination next to all black.
Yep.
I had a question for you. I'm looking at these wheels. They look like just regular D90s at first glance, but did you notice on the, check this out, there's like a little, there's an extra accent to the wheel that I've never noticed before. Is that something specific to, I mean, look at these little accent lines around the holes on the spokes.
So this car just jumped while we were talking about it. It just got bid up to $50,000. So it just jumped. So on the what do you call it? The certificate of authenticity. These are forged D90s. So I don't know if all D90s are forged, but these are forged on this one. And I would say, if I can read this correctly, they are platinum anodized wheels. So they were specifically ordered in this like light kind of copper, light gold anodized color, the platinum, as Porsche calls it. That was an option, and it's on the COA. So it's just an interesting aspect. These are a forged version of the D90s. The question is, were all D90s forged? The ones that were on this, the regular 964, I don't know.
Well, and then they have, these accent lines around the spokes are something that normal D90s do not have.
Yeah, so these
that's
might be special.
Really interesting. Yeah, this
might be a special spec of these made for the Turbo S on the 944 that wasn't on the regular, say, 89, 90, 964s.
Is that about as nerd as you can get? That's why you watch Bid Nerds.
That's right.
Okay, so what is your bid, Michael Deeb?
I think this could have been a $65,000 car at a different time of the year, but this is a weird time heading into the holidays. I'm going to go. I still think there's room left, but I think it doesn't break 60. $57,951 is my bid.
$57,971. You're going to go that specific, huh?
951.
951. Oh, look at you. Boy, if you get an asterisk on this one, you get a double asterisk if you get that one right.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, I'm going to say it peters out at 55.
That's not a bad
it's probably worth more. Being the ultimate 944 with this kind of miles, I'm kind of hoping I'm wrong on that. I'd like to see this one go way higher, but I do hope. My only side, we always say these really nice cars, you hope they get driven. But all right, moving on. What's next?
All right, so we're gonna stay on Bring a Trailer. We're just gonna jump over to this amazing 1974 Volkswagen thing. This car has been modified. It's literally in the title that it's a modified thing. The car is offered to us out of Portland, Oregon, of course. It's bright yellow with a welded-in roll cage. They put a bigger and hotter flat 4 in there with a full exhaust system and Deloder carburetors. It's got big fat wheels. There's some suspension done work to it, and it looks like those bumpers are something aftermarket as well. They're all welded pipe bumpers and stuff. It's just kind of a butch off-road thing, and I think it's really cool. I'm so glad you picked it. I had noticed it while we were looking at the cars. I've become a huge fan of the things since I got to ride around in yours a few years back, and I'm waiting for one of the two of us to step on our Johnsons and buy another one so that we can really have some fun with it. But there you go. One of the coolest things I've seen all year. This modified one out of Portland, Oregon. It's showing 5,500 miles, but the true mileage is unknown. It hasn't had a ton of action, only 9 bids, but it is up to $17,500, which is really all the money for this car. So where's it going to go, JP? Tell us.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to be surprised. I hate this thing. I really don't like it, and that's why I picked it. This is there's no doubt that it would be fun, and it's functional, and it does all the things that it's supposed to do. Ha, pun intended.
Yeah.
But I don't like the modifications, and you know me, I am definitely not a purist. I mean, I am the least purist guy there is. But I feel like the mods on this are not period correct, and that just bugs the hell out of me. You know, the if you're going to put big knobby, if you're going to put off-road tires, if you're going to make a safari thing, right? Back then you wouldn't put big wide knobby tires. That's what you put on a Jeep Wrangler Rubicon, you know, and cruise through the parking lot in and never actually go off-road. Something like this needs skinny, narrow, you know, off-road tires, the kind that like sink through the muck and get down to the solid stuff where you get traction. That's what that's what things do well. They don't have enough power to really just mob through the big muck. And now this one has a bigger engine, which is great. But I hate the steering wheel. I hate the chrome wheels. It's like bleh, it just looks like someone puked on a thing. It is very well done, I have to say. It's really nice to see some proper photography for a change. Seems like people have been just kind of letting that slide. But yeah, I think this is way too much of a modern sensibility applied to one of the most classic and timeless cars of all time. But, you know, I mean, at 17.5, I think that number right now is where it is because it is something that's probably, I mean, this thing would be a hell of a lot of fun to take out in the desert and actually functionally use. What's your bid?
I'm going to go $20,000. I think there's still a couple of grand left in it, and that's about it.
Yeah. I'll go 21 just to go over because I think someone's going to buy it because it's bring a trailer and there's a sucker out there. I would much rather get a very clean thing and just do some slightly different things to it and make it way cooler than this one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very cool. All right. Well, last car, we're going to stay on Bring a Trailer again. And our last vehicle today is a 1991 Toyota pickup, 4x4, 5-speed. This is just a regular cab, not an extended cab. The car's got about 87,000 miles on it. It seems to be a no-nonsense cloth bench seat, bulletproof Toyota, pick of the Taliban. Preservation award. You just rarely see them in this nice a condition. Most of them have just been utilized, and there's almost nothing left of these. I must admit, my uncle had one similar to this that I borrowed to move my stuff from Santa Cruz back home to San Francisco in like 1989. And JP, you know, these things run on regular unleaded gas. And in Santa Cruz, there was a gas station that I had seen had 93 octane when California had limited to 91. And I recall filling up my uncle's Toyota with 93 octane and driving it up from Santa Cruz, which is about an hour and a half drive, and I fouled all the plugs in his car.
What?
Yeah, it ran at the wrong temperature, and I gunked up the thing. It needed a tune-up after I borrowed it because I put 93 octane in his 85 octane Toyota pickup. But there you go, a car for the ages. It's already at I'd say an amazing $12,750 on 16 bids. Where is the limit for this 91 Toyota pickup? Plain old 4x4.
You know, this generation is definitely coming up. And of course, you know, I had one of these, my father's truck. I just sold one that it was not in nice condition. But, you know, this one is really, if my old truck was like this one, I absolutely would have kept it forever.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, and you know, the venerable 22 RE engine will literally run forever. I'm shocked that you fouled the plugs with bad gas because you can literally pour sand in the fuel tank and it'll still run. But that's the thing. It still ran, I'm sure. It may have needed a tune-up, but it still would have gotten you. You could have driven to New York, and it still would have actually gotten you there. Bench seat, 5-speed. I mean, it's perfect. You know, you don't want the extra cab. You don't want all that extra stuff. A lot of times you see these with a 6-cylinder engine. The 22 RE is the engine to get, even though it has way less power. It's not a speed demon or anything. But this thing, like you said, it's a ISIS mobile all day long, which I don't know if you can have a better.
Endorsement.
Endorsement. That's just
talk about running on sand.
Okay. So, what do you have a bid number in mind, or
I'm going to go 15,500, and I'm only basing that on the action that it's getting out of. Actually, I didn't write where this car's coming from, but the gist of it is that it's coming from Newcastle, California. So that's got to be easy to pick up for just about anybody. But 16 bids at $12,750. I'm going to go 15,500.
How many bids are on this? Okay, 17 right now.
Yeah.
It's really hard to find clean ones of these. This, as good as it looks, it does still have a few little flaws that might keep it from getting real money. I've seen the previous generation ones at Barrett-Jackson in the last couple of years go in the 30s.
Right.
So this generation, I think, is coming up. It is. This is a 91, so this is what, the second year. This body style came out in 89. So, it's right in the middle of that kind of line. I'm going to go a little stronger. I think I'm going to really get creamed today, but I'm going to go even stronger. What was your bid?
15,500.
Yeah, I'll go a little higher. I'm going to say 17 and a half.
Wow.
I think this car, if it were a better time of year and the economy wasn't as weird as it is, I would go much higher. I would say this thing breaks 20.
Wow.
And I've certainly seen some of them go it much higher. And with an odometer with only 5 digits on it, that's pretty darn rare for these. I would definitely get rid of that stupid
camper top.
Camper top. Yeah, just leave that there when you go pick it up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we've pounded through 5 cars pretty quick today. Boy, you got to come and join us every day. What do you think of our picks? What do you think of our bid guesses, our bid predictions? Tell us in the comments below. Make sure you like and subscribe and do all those things that you do on the interwebs. Look, we've got an Instagram page. Of course, we've got a YouTube page. Maybe you're watching us on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed already, what are you waiting for? Do it now. We're going live on Facebook. If you're watching us right now on Facebook, make sure you're following us and share this stuff, man. Let people know we are a brand new channel and we want to have fun. We're having a good time. Michael, are you having a good time?
Having a blast. Subscribe, please.
I got to look the right way. See, like we're in the same place. If you came in late, I'm in Las Vegas. Deeb over there is in San Francisco. So
Niners.
we're coming to you from all over the place. We're going to bring some guest nerds in later as we progress and grow the channel. But let us know what you guys think. Tell us about the cars that you want us to pick and talk about. We're just picking our top 5 picks, but we would way rather use your picks and talk about cars that you guys want us to talk about. So let's hear it. Michael D., we good?
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thanks for watching another episode of Bid Nerds. See you tomorrow morning.